Remember when Linguini brought a rat he found back to his apartment and got all embarrassed and was like, "It's not much," to the rat? Linguini is the only millennial character ever written correctly. No, he's really not. He had a job and a career path, unlike most of us who have nothing but crippling college debt. Hello everybody, welcome to Kalbus. My name is Lumo, and today we're looking at r/Tumblr. If you don't know what Tumblr is, it's a blogging site that got bought 2 times and then died. And today, we're going to point at the skeleton and laugh at the only meat left on those bones. Let's get right into it. Tell us about your plans for nuclear war with Russia. The fact that the president made that face, though. Bishwick? I mean, there's a lot of things that I could critique with this, but I'm glad that I don't have anything that I need to critique about nuclear war, because we'd be dead. So thank you for not using the big boy boom boom. Oh, big boy boom boom. That's a mature way to say, weapons of mass destruction. If you think your mom overreacts, just remember, once my mom canceled a trip to New York because I refused to eat the meatloaf she made. My mom accused me of selling my birth certificate and social security to the black market when she couldn't find them. Okay, you win. Why? That's so ridiculous. Why would anyone think that, like, a kid could do it? Like, why? What black market connection would you think your kid could have to sell their identity? And why do you think the kid would sell their identity on the black market? I don't understand what the point of that is. Like, oh, I love the stories in the comments too. My mom accused a spider of leaving the door open. Oh, law professor Roger Fisher suggested that nuclear launch codes be implemented in a volunteer's heart. The president would be required to personally take the life of an innocent person before taking the lives of hundreds of millions. My suggestion was quite simple. Put that needed code number in a little capsule and then implant that capsule right next to the heart of a volunteer. The volunteer would carry with him a big, heavy butcher knife as he accompanied the president. If the president wanted to fire nuclear weapons, the only way he could do so would be for him to first, with his own hands, to kill one human being. The president says, "George, I'm sorry, but tens of millions must die." He has to look at someone and realize what death is. What an innocent death is. Blood on the White House carpet. It's reality brought home. Never forget that part of the reason this system was never implemented was that when he presented it to his colleagues, the response was, if I recall, "George, that's terrible. If he asks to take an innocent life, he may never push the button." I mean, I get what he's trying to say, because having, that sacrifice makes it a lot more of a readily apparent thing. But at the same time, in the event that we're about to get nuked, there's something called mutually assured destruction, and if we have to go through this entire song and dance, it's not gonna be so mutually assured. We're just gonna get wiped off the face of the earth, and the other person who used their nukes is now king of the world because everyone fears the fact that they are willing to do it. So by having a system like this where our response time is greatly delayed by a necessary murder and then routing around for a capsule and hoping the capsule's in good condition, it makes it a lot easier for us to be removed from the earth without taking somebody else out, which makes us more vulnerable. Like, that's the thing. You don't want to use nukes willy-nilly, but you want to be able to hit the button if you need to hit the button. Because being able to hit the button at a moment's notice is what keeps other people from hitting the button. We exist in a constant state of Cold War. The fun thing about Tumblr is that the people who write, first of all, this is extremely insulting and dangerous because profanity-laden, otherwise flawless essays say for being factually completely wrong. And it turns out that it's a self-righteous 14-year-old girl who heard half a fact and ran with it. And then there's someone posting, "Sometimes the toad must go to toad prison for their horrible goblin crimes." And it's a 34-year-old boy with a PhD in amphibian behavioral studies. It's like a very specific kind of pose laws. Thank you, comments. Very accurate. Oh my god, there's this one post of someone actually giving somewhat decent facts about brain surgery, and everyone thought they were a doctor because they had PhD in their blog's title, and no, it turns out they were role-playing as the Danganronpa character, and people went with this post for a week before anyone pointed out there was a Danganronpa roleplay account. That was my favorite day. The day that everyone realized that the doctor was a just goddamn Danganronpa account. Fox sleeping in a graveyard. Makes me wonder about reincarnation. Makes me wonder about soulmates. Makes me think that dark stone probably soaks up sunlight, and that's the warmest place around for a fox nap. Nudity and nerdery, definitely a good name, but definitely nailed it on the head because, you know, all animals, humans included, like to sleep on top of a nice warm rock. We're all lizard people, just with flesh costumes. The thing that scares me about that second one makes me wonder about soulmates.
Are you trying to say that this dude's soulmate was a fox? Are you trying to tell me that his soulmate was an animal? Are you advocating for frickin' animals, my dude? Like, maybe that's a little weird. Maybe you shouldn't do that.
You guys ever think, like, just sidebar real quick before we move to the next post. I don't know why I wanted to talk about all of their responses individually, but like the guy who's like, makes me wonder about reincarnation. Have you ever thought about how horrible it must be to get reincarnated to a non-sentient creature, vaguely remembering life as a human and realizing that your day-to-day life has now become more of a struggle to survive than it was before? Completely divorced from all of the comfort and like pleasantries that we have right now as humans. Have you ever thought about how horrifying that must be to wake up one day and be like, oh good, I am a parasite-laden bear. I cannot wait. Food for thought. The clover has finally grown enough for her to munch on again. Absolute decadence. Imagine a kindly giant of unknown species and origin just picking you up and carefully placing you in a pile of chicken nuggets. I have a couple of friends that this would be their dream, to be kindly lifted and pampered by a giant unknown species in origin. And they would love to be picked up and placed in a bed of chicken nuggies. I always question if lizards are smart enough to recognize, like, a friendly human, or if lizards are just complete, like, smooth brain like I'm pretty sure they are. My friend had a lizard named Bindi. Bindi was an idiot. One day she got out of her cage, saw a bunch of sleeping humans, and stayed in her cage in fear. I missed that lizard. She was very dumb. Jeff Goldblum likes when fans call him Daddy. You're opening up Pandora's box, Jeff. Does that look like a man who's afraid of the contents? No, it really doesn't. I want to know what this is. Why do people call their favorite male creators Daddy? I need to know. When I was at the like peak of my popularity, I had people calling me Daddy, and we had a rule in my Discord server, like, don't call me Daddy. What is this trend? Why do people like to call other people, like other creators, Daddy? Like, don't get me wrong. And I've just never understood the trend, because it's like, what's the point of it? Why are you calling people Daddy? They're not your daddy. They just make funny haha videos on the internet. Get out of here. Yo. You sure you're a lesbian? Cause you don't look like one. Sorry. If I had a dime for every time I've been told this, I'd buy a plane to fly to your house and fuck your sister. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good comeback. Oh, damn. Oh, that's good. That's classy. I like that. I asked my nephew how old his dad was, and he replied, 6. I said, how can he only be 6 if you're 6? He said, because he's only been a dad since I was born. I guess. Man, that's definitely not something that happened. No 6-year-old is that smart. No 6-year-old is that smart. I would accept that he said 6 because none of this existed before me or something like that. But no 6-year-old is that smart. Unless it is Sheldor who go bazinga. But like, he's fictional for a reason. He would not survive to adulthood. This child don't exist. Vampire doctors that can smell if you have a blood disease. Werewolf therapy animals for sick kids. Nature sprite and nymph nurses that always make sure people have pretty flowers to brighten up their white rooms. Fawns that go around and sing and dance for patients so that they smile. Nice monster hospitals would be amazing. Succubus nurses that give you the suck before you die. Thanks, Tumblr user Skeluigi. My boy Skeluigi, man of culture over here, he knows exactly what up, dude. I'm just saying, if you don't like big titty demon girls, maybe you need to adjust your priorities, you know what I'm saying? Imagine how satisfying it would be to hit a Grand Wizard with a Ford F-150 before he could react. Yeah, summon a fireball now, you piece of shit. The part about the fireball really threw me. I thought this was about the KKK. I love that as a society we have completely and utterly panned the Triple K. I love that fact. I hate that there are still stupid bedsheet wizards around, but I like the fact that if one pokes its head out its door brazenly, it gets its ass kicked. I like that the KKK lives in fear. In my senior drama class, I had to play Gordon Ramsay for a film project, but we could only film in schools, so we had to try and find a closed-off room to use. The thing is, the room wasn't exactly soundproof, and apparently someone heard us, and that's the story of how the vice principal and 4 freshmen walked in on me wearing a chef's hat and yelling at my friend because her squid was so raw, I could still hear it telling SpongeBob to frick off. Did you get an A? I mean, yeah, that's gotta be some convincing acting. If you ended up getting the principal in there to be like, hey, what are you kids doing in here? God, man, I remember back in my high school days, we had a drama class that was basically filled with 2 kinds of people. People who were already in theater, so the teacher knew them and liked them, so they were basically guaranteed an easy A, or the stoners who thought it would be really funny to get super high and then try and do method acting. Both of these groups clashed in the best way, and it always came off on days where we had to do improv, and the stoners basically just became unto gods. Pros and cons of making things. Pro, thing. Con, make. You summed up the struggle of all creators ever so nicely. Oh man, and then you go to make and you overscope it by a bunch and then your project never comes to fruition. And what do you mean I'm being weirdly specific? I don't have experience doing that exact thing. You owe me like $1. You'll have to kill me for it. College students. No, that's real. That's real. One time my girlfriend and I were out and she's like, hey babe, can you get me a drink? And I just kind of I looked at her with like that horrified anime stare, you know, where the pupils really shrink and the eye starts vibrating. Yep, that was me. Just kind of staring at her holding a can in her hand. To have gotten a degree that was absolutely meaningless. What a wonderful world we live in. For some reason, we're scared of looking into the abyss of the ocean when it's only a few miles deep, but we're completely fine looking into the nearly infinite abyss of space. In fact, most of us find it calming. Gravity doesn't drag me upwards into the unforgiving maw of the cosmos. Not yet. Man, I have nightmares about a black hole that just wanders a little bit too close to Earth and sucks off half the planet, and then the rest of the world has to try and just figure out how to live with like a half the population just getting sucked off. Okay, maybe that phrasing could have been better. But like, imagine, if you will, that like, I don't know, maybe America got like, just the entire population got like sucked off. And now the rest of the world has to scramble to try and like man their power plants and like the rigs for oil and everything to try and like prevent society from collapsing because, you know, the USA is such a big economic infrastructure in the world. Or like, imagine it slightly shifted the Earth off its axis as it passed by. So now everyone has to try and figure out how we can survive with our orbit ever so slightly fucked to make everything so much worse. I think about these things because I'm stuck at home because we're in quarantine. Anyone else have that classic middle school experience? Trademark! Where you lost a nice pen and you saw someone else using it a day later and they'd never used it before, so you asked them where they got their pen and they hesitated, but then they said, from my house. And you didn't have any evidence, so you couldn't accuse them of stealing it from you, but you always knew deep down. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that my irresponsibility with my pencils furnished my entire middle school class with a bunch of really nice mechanical pencils. I could never sharpen pencils, so I had to get the mechanical ones, but I was really scatterbrained as a child. I'm still kind of scatterbrained now, but I have it under control. But like, the thing is though, is I actually had a friend hit me up when I was in college, and he was just like, hey man, I stole a bunch of your mechanical pencils when we were in middle school, and I'm like, what are you doing? That was like 6 years ago. Why are you telling me this? So that's all the time we have today here on Kalbus. If you like this, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and maybe even ring that biggity bell, because we try to make Reddit content for you every single day, and all of these actions show us the support, and that support just means the world to us. As always, my name has been Lumo. There will be another r/Tumblr popping up on your screen in a couple of seconds. As always, I hope to see you in the very next Kalbus video, and I hope you have a lovely day.